more of games like that. I mean, that was crazy back and forth.
In about 2 hours, I'll be able to.
Yeah, right? Which is being exhausted. Laying on the desk. But as they mentioned, I mean, it really was such a high-action game, and it just trading power, trading control of the game left and right. We're just going to roll through some gameplay here and kind of break it down as we go. Starting at 26 minutes into the game, kind of the first real big power shift in the game. APX is going to pick up 4 kills here in the mid lane, plus the Baron on the back end of this one.
Yeah, it starts basically with an overextension by CLG. Aphro gets what looks like a good ult. You get 3 people in it, but they funneled through this like long lane, and by the time that they finally get the engage off, Ray's behind and causing total chaos.
Yeah, that was a combo that CLG had used multiple times, where it's Aphro Bard ultimate into the gravity field from HuHi, but the Lantern from Xpecial this time gets Apollo out of there, and they're able to turn it right back around.
Yeah, so they pick up Baron off that as well. So
right, exactly. So that's kind of where we were like, oh, okay, with Swain and all that, you'd expect Apex maybe they're gonna have control of this. They're gonna take the game, right? At that point, you're kind of willing to say like, hey, there's a possibility that if the team plays it correctly, they kind of just close the game out methodically from here. That is absolutely not what happens in this game. It's not 10 minutes later, 36 minutes of the game. Xmithie comes up with a big Baron steal in the back of the pit. CLG then is able to pick up 4 kills on the back end of this fight, kind of just swinging things back the other direction.
Exactly. This is going to be another Bard ultimate. Actually, I think Aphromoo is going to delay this one to allow him time to get there. Teleports do come in, actually. There's the Bard ultimate, and now Xmithie's just in position. As you said, at this stage in the game, Apex have so much control. They're going to try and burst it down. They have Nidalee there. They have confidence in their burst combo, but Xmithie gets right in there. I think he might have gotten the knock-up on that pounce as well, but after the steal, they're able to turn around. And look at this magical journey for the reset. Aphromoo is going to get people out after this, and they're going to be able to turn it right back around. They go over the wall. Xmithie's able to stay alive and start healing. Stixxay goes in for the giant headshot there on the trapped Nidalee, and they're able to clean up a bunch of extra kills on top of the Baron to swing this game right back to the middle.
That's one of those things that's underrated. Like when a Bard ults the Baron, like chaos breaks out in communication.
Like,
stay on the Baron, turn off. Like, what do you do? And so, you know, you have a team that probably hasn't been in too many crazy situations like this on stage. I know that they have a lot of expert players, but like not together, right? Exactly. So, you know, that is a situation where you're just like, what am I doing exactly? And you saw that CLG was able to capitalize on that kind of chaos.
Yeah, that being said, Apex kind of distinct lack of vision around the Baron pit. They did have the pink ward inside, but they didn't have a ton of vision on the backside of the Baron pit to track Xmithie and his ability to come in and steal. So maybe something that they'll work on for the future games, putting themselves in a more advantageous situation when they are playing around those global objectives. But again, this was just the story of the game, because from there we had about 25 minutes more of trading fights. It seemed like every time a team went to go start an objective, the other team shows up and wins that fight, and it just traded back and forth.
The team that had inhibitors down would be the team getting the neutral objectives, so then they would be able to use those buffs to sustain and defend until the inhibitors came back up. So rarely do we see multiple Elder Dragons taken in a game. It's got 10-minute respawn timer, and it doesn't spawn till 35, so usually we're like, oh, game's over after you see one of them, but we got multiple ones, plus a bunch of Barons.
With that back and forth that we saw, CLG on your screen here, they're going to be going over their strategies for Game 2. Of course, the game ended with a little bit of an overextension by CLG. I don't know if they got overconfident in what they thought they could start a fight there without Ray being on the table here in this final fight, but Elder Dragon having been picked up by Apex, it was a very sketchy engage.
Yes. This game ends in a very magical journey right into the support. Like, they want to take down Xpecial. They thought he was alone, I believe, but all the damage was right around the corner in the Fog of War there, and they turn around quickly. At this stage, you're just like, unless Stixxay makes the most godly play.
You're looking for MSI Stixxay.
Actually,
like, you're
looking everything, and yeah.
I think it's a situation where CLG is just like, oh god, we need to end this game. Like, we think if we get a couple kills here, they actually had a minion wave in the mid lane, and both their side lanes were pushed into them. So, like, the game's going to stall out for another 10 minutes if they play it slower. So I think they were like, hey, if we make this play, game's over for us. So let's go for it. And they ended up, you know, going right into
they take a stab at it, but I think we have to acknowledge here real quick, even though, again, early in the season, but our defending champions in a world of best of threes have not yet won a game. They get 2-0'd by TSM. They start off their series against Apex, a game down. So, you know, for them, you got to wonder what the mentality is like, what the discussions are like in the back room. Not to say that they're necessarily freaking out. Lots of experience on that team. So hopefully Zix can get them kind of refocused in on Game 2. With all of that behind us, we've got to talk about our player of the game, Ray, on that Fizz. So far for him in the LCS, it's been like I'm getting focused
Yeah.
insanely much in the top lane. We saw it with Santorin and Quas going ham on him. Here he started down, 20, 30 CS early in the game, but he's finding a way back into the game every single time.
The crazy thing is, like, we had Darshan on the desk yesterday, and he was talking about how much he hated being a top laner playing from behind. Ray had 10 CS at 9 minutes, and, like, next thing you know, he's 7-2 or something with, like, even CS with Darshan. You're like, how does that happen? This guy's a monster.
Yeah, I mean, I started this year with, trying to work out some expectations for Ray. I was like, oh, I'll watch a couple of the games from LPL. Pastry Time says he's really good. But I wasn't convinced until, we get well into day 2 and they're actually playing against CLG and Darshan, and to see the effectiveness that he has diving that back line. Yeah, I'm convinced.
There you go. Kobe's convinced. Good on Ray for picking that one up for his team. We'll see how he performs in Game 2. Real quick, we want to update you on what's going on over on Stream 2. TSM able to pick up a win in their first game pretty handily over Team Liquid, and a lot of that's coming through that focus back to the mid lane, putting Bjergsen in a position where he can push his lane up quite significantly. We're going to have a replay to kind of show you what results because of that, but definitely putting a little bit more focus back in that mid lane and empowering Xpecial to be very aggressive in the jungle.
Yes, Xpecial goes for the dive. They started off. This is such clean execution on their dive as well. Bringing Hanser down, who also earned a very big lead in his solo lane. And then this one right there, that was a mistake by Team Liquid. And that's just an extra kill there to snowball these guys. Everyone's banning Ryze right now. Bjergsen got the champion that has the potential to snowball and take off and overtake a game. And then he gets early kills on that champion.
Yeah. With that, Hanser did also pick up player of the game, so that's important to note that he was a big factor in that victory there. Team Liquid responded, subbing in Dardoch. That Game 2 is currently happening over on Stream 2, so if you're curious, go ahead and check into it. We have to take a quick break following that crazy Game 1 here on this stream, but stick around because when we come back, it's Game 2 between APX and CLG, and it's sure to be a good one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.